Hi, Irfan.
Kate,
How are you?
I'm doing well, although I seem to be really blurred. Do you see that? Or can you
You
see me?
are. No, you're blurry. It looks like, did you try to blur your background? But you're sitting too far from your computer.
No, let me see what the heck's
Oh,
going
that's a little bit better.
because I got a setting mirror in my video. Hmm. Okay, let's try this. Background and filters. Is this better or is it? Still not too good. Hey, you're much clearer than I am. Oh, wow.
I don't
Let,
know.
let me try. Did I choose any video filter? No. I say none. Let me try none. I say none as well. Okay. Not sure what's going on here. Maybe I should come forward. Lean in a little.
If you're closer to the screen, it's better. And then it tries to blur the background. I wonder if it was just the distance from the camera that you're sitting.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let me see what I can do here. Let me try to. I tried none, and I tried
That's,
blur.
oh, yeah.
The none is better because I've got a.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, it's still, is it a lighting, like a brightness or a contrast, maybe?
Maybe with a lot of colorful background. It's my daughter's room. All right. So that's should be manageable. It's better now, right? Without the background.
It was okay with that bridge background instead of just blurring the background. That was a little bit better.
Okay, I'll live with that.
Yeah.
It makes
I
it
was
look more professional. That's a bridge to DevOps glory, I guess. All right. Yeah. Okay. That's. Well, freaking out. This the problem with these things is it's
yeah.
still a little. Let me see if I get this. If I'm not
I
sure.
wonder if you change your lighting. Yeah.
Then it goes too dark. Eh? It's almost like I'm sitting in a freaking cave or something.
Yeah, it's very strange that it is
Mm.
clouded. It's like
Yeah, blurred. Maybe it's just the Microsoft's. I'm gonna. Oh well. Da, 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 da. Let's see.
I
Uh,
get tons of problems with my camera when I switch during from different like Zoom to WebEx to Teams. Usually Teams gets hung on me and the camera doesn't recognize it, but
that's better.
it's
I
better.
turned off for
Yeah,
whatever
that lighting
reason.
is better. Oh,
All right. I turned off mirror my camera, but it didn't. It went away. But let me try stop video and restart video. Yeah, it's a little messed up. Yeah, I look like I'm freaking like that's kind of never happened to me on Zoom. First time it's happening.
yeah. I wonder if you put that DASA background behind you or something to have more color behind you, if it will help.
Is a DASA background there within
No,
choose video filter? What does it have as video settings? Video settings, blah blah blah. I don't see anything. This is the best. What the heck?
oh, that's good. That's way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened here? But
You're
now
now
it's
I
all
can't see you, but
yeah, it's messed up.
it's dark now, but you weren't as blurry. I wonder if
Yeah,
you turn.
I turned off my what the heck's going on? But okay, well, if I stay a little behind, it seems to. I think it's the blurring is kind of effective. I don't know. It just fades into the background. That's never
Yeah.
happened before.
You were clearer when you were messing with the contrast a second ago.
Yeah,
Your and
let
then
me,
if you that was a
let's
little
see.
better.
Let me just see.
That's better quality picture.
Oh, it's really grainy, eh? Oh, two people are in the thing, so I'm not sure who was that. This Sundaresh and these guys. Okay, man, so I'll let these guys in. Oh,
Yeah.
it's really blurry though, right? It still is, eh?
Yeah, and now it's a little dark. I was also going to send you the updated list of attendees to compare when people are trying to enter.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna make you. Hey, Sundaresh. Hey, man, and hey, and Kate. Wondering if I can make you the co-host as we talked earlier. How do we do that?
You should.
I should go participants and see. Kate, more make co-host. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not make co-host. Yeah.
Make co-host and maybe make Sundaresh the presenter if it gives you that option too. It's funny because I don't have the same.
You say co-host for the meeting. Yeah, there you go. You want to? Yes. Hey, Sundaresh, how are you, man?
Good, how are you doing? Quick question. Can we switch presenters?
To you or Palash?
Yeah, the meeting, like, I mean, can I share my screen and then switch to Palash later?
Oh, you should be able to. If Irfan can make both of you presenters.
It doesn't have a presenter option. It has got a co-host option. I can make you a co-host too. I think that'll give you the right to present too, I'm assuming.
Yeah, because I have a share screen option now.
Okay, let me put you, Sundaresh, as a co-host.
Okay.
Does that work? Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
Good. And
yeah, sorry. I'm gonna go on mute here.
Okay.
assuming I'm going to share the screen, so I will turn off my video. Otherwise, I'm going to get distracted.
Okay. I was gonna send you, Sundaresh, I was gonna send you the list of attendees, so you have an idea of who's there. I don't know, you may recognize some of these people. It's grown. Hold on, I'm gonna delete all this thread. Wow, this is a long thread.
Hey, sorry, is it any better, Kate? Do I appear still very blurry?
The light is a little bright. I can't tell the
Okay.
ceiling light.
I tried to switch it up. Let me just try to adjust this thing a little. Maybe I just stand up or something.
I have a terrible lighting too. I think it's better that I don't show my meeting.
Okay, let's try to. I'm gonna try to turn it off. Because I tried several things. It's not working as expected, but I can try to turn it off. But it's way too dark in the room. You can, yeah, I'm not sure. Is this any better? Or you can barely see me?
If you're close to the camera, I can see you. Do you have a desk light, like a lamp on the desk?
Maybe. Oh, that's too bright. That's my daughter's lamp.
Oh, no, actually, that's good. I like that
Oh, that
better.
makes it a little better. Okay, yeah.
I like that better.
Oh, yeah, and it kind of, yeah, that's cool. Thanks, kid. That makes it.
I have a window in front of, I have a window in front of me that gives me like natural light, and then I have like that ceiling light because it's gonna get dark while we're on this, you know.
And I didn't realize every sort of whatever these video conferencing thing has their own nuances, right? Has its own nuances, right? Okay, there's somebody else, ATP. Oh, this I think.
This might be, yeah. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 people registered,
All right.
including us.
Cool. I'm hoping it's probably the people who registered, like, I mean, at least 15 people join.
Yeah, 27. I mean, actually, that does not include you, Sundaresh or Palash on the list of emails that I sent it to. So the 27 does include myself and Irfan.
Alright.
But that's a pretty good, if we can get 20 of the 27 to show.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah, sure. And I think Joey, hey, Joey, yeah, I believe you joined.
Hey, evening.
Hey,
Hi,
I think you're good, ma'am. We were able to get in, and so we're all set, it looks like. But thank you for your,
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly join, see if everything was okay.
Appreciate it.
Everything is good. I was just going through the list of the attendees to see if I had not emailed any of them, but I think all of them are on my calendar invite. Oh, this hello person. Hello. Oh, that's you.
Palash,
Palash.
right?
Is that Palash?
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
figured it out. Hello at oswaldpalash.com. I just figured it out. He's here, so he figured it out. Everyone else is on my invite.
Palash, do you want to unmute your mic and just confirm to everyone that you're here so we know your mic is working too? Palash?
Maybe he stepped away.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we
yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No worries, no worries. Just a mic check.
Yeah. I don't seem to have the ability to share my screen, but
How many
Yeah.
hosts? How many co-hosts can you make, Irfan?
I'm going to try Palash here as well. So let me see if I can try it. So if you want to, it allows me to make you a co-host, Palash. Yeah. So I'll make you a co-host so that you have rights to share your screen as well. Okay.
yeah, let me try it.
Right, sounds good.
Do you guys see my terminal?
Yeah,
Yes.
we see your share.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll stop sharing. That's it.
Perfect.
So Palash, you come with an interesting background, eh? In security. I was just looking up. You did some work. Are you doing some work in security? It looks like, right?
Yeah. I'm currently looking into kernel security.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but also hoping to get certified with Kubernetes as a Kubernetes security specialist this January.
Yeah, I think with the distributed system, that is a big challenge, right? So sorry, the bunch of folks. Kate, do you want to let them in, or do you see this?
I can do it because I can match it against this list real quick. I see. Gonzalo, admit. Perfect. Jorge's here now. Sergio. Good evening.
Hi,
Hey,
Good
all right. How are you doing? Good to see you. man.
very well. Good to see you as well.
Hey, Jorge, how are you?
Hi, Sundaresh, Kate, and Irfan, and Gonzalo.
Gonzalo's here. Oh, hi, Gonzalo.
Hey, Gonzalo.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
All right. Thank you, sir.
Great.
Very well.
Great, Jorge.
Can't complain. Hi, Joy.
Hey, Jorge.
Sundaresh, I did not forward Palash the latest presentation, so I'm assuming you guys you shared, yes?
Yeah, I share my screen. Yeah, Palash is gonna basically help us with the
Demo.
exercise and all that.
Perfect.
Mhm.
And did you have ideal, is there going to be breakout small groups? Did you have ideal size of people for those rooms?
I think
Or
we'll
just everyone together in the demo?
Yep, I think we'll just do in one group here.
Okay,
So it's easy for us to manage too.
perfect. I know we have breakout room abilities, but
Yeah,
not necessary.
because some people might take like long time, and some might like do it quick. So I think it's better to do as one go.
Perfect. I'm sitting at 10 people at 4:02. I would give until 4:05 and then get started. And as people join, they'll just catch up. But we had, I think, 27 registered. So hopefully we get north of about 15 people before we'll let you begin the presentation or let Irfan introduce DASA.
Do you want to share, bring up the slides, Kate?
Yeah, I can share my screen. Hold on.
Thank you.
Can you see my screen now? Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. It took away my, what's interesting, when you're sharing your screen, for me, it's split on 2 monitors now, but it took away my participants list where I could see the chat.
Oh,
Which is fine.
no, it's
It's
yeah.
chat window.
Sometimes when you dual monitors, I guess, right?
Yeah, it split it. I'm gonna pull it over here. I think I can do it now.
So I presume the way it works then, Kate, you would be advancing it, or it allows
Yep.
multiple co-host events? Okay, all right.
I can advance it, and then Sundaresh, if you prefer to control it, I'll let you share your screen after Irfan's done with the intro and let you take over.
All right.
All right, we're at 4:05. We're at PM Eastern time. We're at 12 participants.
Yeah, all right. So, so is the consensus then we get started? It make sense? We get started now? Sundaresh, Palash? Yeah?
Yeah, we can get started.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, folks, thank you for joining DASA's America Circles webinar. My name is Irfan Sharif. I represent DASA as a research director. And in this role, I am helping the community as well as the larger membership organization in providing guidance in terms of adoption of DevOps practices. And as part of that sort of continuum of learning, we also have these circles and chapters. And this is our Americas chapters. And I'm privileged and honored that Sundaresh and Palash will be speaking about an important topic around the DevOps practices, which is automation. And before I hand over the floor to Sundaresh and Palash, who will be the co-presenters, I wanted to give the audience, and some of you are familiar with DASA already, for those of you who are not, DASA, it stands for DevOps Agile Skills Association. It's a community driven and based on a membership sort of model, and its primary focus and mandate is the promotion of DevOps practices and their adoptions within global organizations to drive business outcomes through the DevOps way of working. So we hope to achieve to do that by offering guidance, as I just referred briefly earlier, in terms of specific research guidance that we would be able to provide to our community, our business membership subscribers. And we also would enhance this DevOps way of working through communities such as this one we have, where we share experiences among peers and that way develop a communal learning environment. In addition to that, we also have a talent management stream that helps in upskilling of people who, along with the sort of ways of working transformation, have to upskill their skills and the knowledge. So that is a key pillar of the DevOps Agile Skills Association's offering for its members. And finally, there is this whole piece around celebrating the accomplishments and in terms of recognizing people who have led in the adoption of DevOps. Just a very quick segue on that recognition piece. We are having the DevOps Awards coming up shortly, and maybe and Kate, this was unrehearsed a little bit. We should have probably talked about it. I was wondering if you could just please bring up the website with the link to the DevOps Awards site for the benefit of those who might not be familiar with it.
Oops. Yep. Let me try. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
sharing the entire screen. Let me stop share and then get there and then reshare maybe. Putting me on the spot.
Yeah, sorry, that was unrehearsed, but I had thought about it previously, but I think Joey pasted the link there.
Oh,
DevOps.
thank you. Beautiful, Joey, saving my bottom.
No, that's fine, Kate.
Here we go.
We all learn agility by fire. Yeah, like,
Yes, there we
but
go.
appreciate it. No, we good. And for the benefit of those who might not be familiar with this, this is the upcoming DASA DevOps Awards, and this is to recognize folks in businesses, in service provider organization, and individuals and teams who have excelled at adopting DevOps ways of working and the practices that come with it. This is coming up shortly, and we would urge you to spread the word, and as well as if you know of anybody who is worthy of these sort of awards and have done some transformations, we'd certainly encourage you to have them enter these awards, submit their application to be recognized. So would appreciate that if you can take that away. So the URL for the awards is on the screen, and I think we can share it as well during the course of this presentation. And very quickly, Kate, if you can just click on the membership sort of URL there, and just to elaborate a little bit on what I spoke briefly about. DASA is a community powered and a membership based organization, and there are two streams of members that are participating in the organization, and those are our enterprise membership folks who are essentially enterprises who want to benefit from all the things that I spoke about in terms of what DASA provides, and service providers as well who would like to enjoy the same benefits and also actively contribute to the enhancement of DevOps practices. So with that, Kate, and I'd like to thank Kate, first of all, for helping organize this and appreciate that very much, Kate. And she's my co-host here. And Kate, if there's anything you would like to say in terms of logistics or anything else before we hand it over to Sundaresh.
Yeah, I feel that was a great overview of DASA. We have the chat. So I feel that if you have any questions, it's great to have that interaction and allow for Q&A during the event. So feel free to add chat directly to me or to everyone for us to see using that chat platform. And then Sundaresh, did you prefer to share your screen at this point, or do you want me to go back to the presentation and share?
You can just share, I think. I just tried to do it from my end. I mean, it wasn't working great. So I think it's better. I mean, if you just share it, that's fine.
Perfect. We'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Irfan. Thanks, Kate. Yeah, Sundaresh Iyer, 15 years of experience in the industry, implementing distributed systems, using various technologies, working for multiple clients and working on multiple products. I'm very passionate about DevOps. I'm also a DASA influencer. I'm very passionate about solving real world problems using technologies and more importantly, automating everything as possible. Also, soon to be a private pilot. Yeah. That's just about me.
Hey everyone, I'm Palash. I just moved to the US. I'm a master's student in cybersecurity at Carnegie Mellon. I'm also currently a teaching assistant for DevOps and CI/CD courses in Institute of Software Research and Carnegie Mellon. I am certified by CNCF as a Kubernetes administrator, and previously I worked with Sundaresh on some DevOps products and projects. I love security, automation, and open source software. Yeah, that's it.
That's great. All right. Before we get started, just want to, summarize the agenda here. We will talk about container orchestration platform, and before we get into the problem statement, I understand we have a diverse group here. With various expertise of containers or Kubernetes experience. Some of you might have just started about containers or starting to look to implement container technologies in your company or your clients, or some might be like a little more expert and looking to scale and manage them effectively. We will touch base on all of those. And then we'll talk about Kubernetes basics, some of the Kubernetes basic concepts and architecture on a high level. And then we will have a working session with everyone using EKS Anywhere. EKS Anywhere is the latest offering from AWS. Again, it's a little different from other services that AWS is offering. This is more from an on-prem or like a hybrid approach. Whatever you prefer. Like more importantly, you don't need an AWS account to run EKS Anywhere, right? So that's about it. We will try to have a working session on that, and then finally we can brainstorm on what Kubernetes is best for your team or your company, and what are the things that you have to consider when you choose a Kubernetes platform. Make sense? All right. We'll keep the slide. All right. That said, before we deep dive into the problem statement, let's talk about what is container. Like I said, we have different levels of expertise here. So I just want to start from the basics. What is a container, right? Container is a way to package applications with all the necessary dependencies, configurations, so the portability is efficient and easily shared and moved around. So we can avoid the classic saying of, hey, it worked on my computer and not on the entire environment or so. So container addresses, those issues or those problems So before container existed, how we were developing softwares, for me to develop a web application with a PostgreSQL as a backend or something, I mean, we'll have to install the binaries and get everything set up on my local computer. So it's a long, I mean, it takes a long time to set up your local dev and all that to start working on developing something on your computer. With containers, we don't have to install the binaries or services in the OS operating system. Container has its own isolated OS layer. We have everything packaged into one environment, the configurations, Postgres, for example, I mean, everything in your startup script. So regardless of the OS operating system, starting the container will be the same. So the command won't change. Basically, you can run the same command to run on any OS that you might have. It's very OS independent. So essentially, setting up your local dev is very easy and consistent with containers, and not just the local dev. As we look at building cloud native architectures, such as microservices, do you want to go one slide, Kate? Kate, do you want to go next slide? Yeah. We're talking about cloud native architectures. So as we look at them in building cloud native architectures, such as microservices, in which a single application is composed of many loosely coupled and independent deployable smaller components or services. Think it this way, right? I mean, instead of having a big monolith application, with microservices, you break everything separately. Like, I mean, you're loosely coupling, so that way you're deploying smaller components or services, so which makes it, I mean, efficiently to manage this. Couple of clicks, right? So for a single application, you might have like hundreds of, even sometimes thousands of microservices created for single application. You can go to the next slide. So going back to our first slide here, how do I manage these containers? With thousands of containers that you have, how do I manage them effectively and port them across environments? And how do I do that? So that's what, that's where, I mean, our container orchestration comes. So what the container orchestration offers. Yeah, so first thing, I mean, let's talk about, I mean, some of the benefits of the container orchestration here. With container orchestration tool, it provides a high availability, meaning your application is highly available all the time, and helps in scaling and loads faster, highly performant. And when there is a disaster recovery required, something bad happened, for example, to your infrastructure, your containers application can run at a later state after the recovery. So that's something that your orchestrated manages by itself. And also you're automating your security or auto scaling or automated traffic routing. All these things can be done by your container tool. You can write scripts on your own to manage these things. But again, writing a script and managing across environment, it becomes very tedious and sometimes, I mean, virtually impossible to. So that's where, I mean, the tools like the container orchestrated tool, I mean, helps us, which is again our DASA's core principle. Wherever possible, automate everything as much as you can. Next slide. So there are many container orchestration platforms available in the market, like a managed offerings from vendors like Rancher, AWS, EKS, or when all these things are some of them are managed Kubernetes, or some of them are something that you can run on your local computer. So there are various platforms that are available. But before choosing one or the other, it's important to understand, I mean, what is your use case and how it would integrate with your IT systems and all that. though we have many, we will look at our EKS Anywhere today shortly. Next slide. All right, so what is Kubernetes? Kubernetes is an open source container orchestrated tool developed by Google. If you look at the basic architecture, it'll be better, I mean, if I do the clicks. So I know, I mean, how many animations that I added, but I don't have the ability to share it properly. So we'll just go with what we have here. Can I have one more? Yeah, it follows the typical master worker node architecture, master, and a couple of clicks more too. Yeah, and worker nodes, and on every worker nodes there will be a kubelet running on every worker node, and also a few more clicks. I think you can load the entire slide. That's fine. Yeah, the previous slide. Thank you. Yeah, so it follows the a typical architecture of a master worker node, and your worker node is where you have your containers deploy, your application runs on your worker node, and in the master node, it's more important to understand what runs on the master node. So in master node is where your API server, which is a container by itself, and again, I mean, that's the entry point for your Kubernetes cluster. And this is a process with which the different components like the UI or your command line will talk to with the cluster. And the another process that we have here is the controller, which keeps track of everything in the cluster. So if, for example, a container died and it needs to be restarted, etc. So a controller is what, I mean, makes sure that that happens. And then the scheduler, scheduler is responsible for scheduling containers on various nodes. It's an intelligent process that would say on which node the container should be scheduled on based on the load the application requires. So these are some of the processes that runs on the master. The final thing that I want to talk about is the etcd. It's the most important component on your master. Etcd is a key value storage. It basically holds anytime your current state of the cluster. It has state data of your nodes, your configuration data, and so whenever you have to do a backup or restore, it takes the etcd or etcd snapshots, and it restores to your current state. It basically requires the whole cluster state from the snapshot to the most appropriate state. Next slide. All right, we can load the entire slide too on this. That's fine. All right, let's look at some of the basic components of Kubernetes. I just want to go over these things because when you create your own cluster with Balazs in a minute, you know what exactly they are responsible for and why they are important. So that's why I thought probably it will take some time to talk about these basic components and how or why they are important in respect to the clusters. So some of the key components. Let's talk about pod first. Pod is the smallest unit that you will, as a user, configure and interact with a cluster. It's the wrapper around a container. Inside a pod, you can have one or more containers. Usually it'll be one, sometimes it'll be two, depends on the application. Some application might require some helpers, helper containers. So that's where you'll have probably two containers in a pod, right? And one thing what I've not mentioned here is the virtual network. So the virtual network is basically that assigns each pod its own IP addresses. So internally to communicate with another pod, they use the IPs. We don't actually configure containers within these clusters. I mean, if you see the whale inside the pod, that's the container. We don't actually, configure the containers within the cluster. We only work with the pods, and the pods are ephemeral in nature, meaning it can die more often. So when a pod dies, we can go to the next one. You can load it. Right. Yeah, so when a pod dies and a new one will get created, a new pod will get created automatically. So when a new pod is created, a new IP address will be created. But again, this pods are ephemeral in nature, so it can die anytime. So every time it dies and brings a new pod, it's going to assign a new IP, right? So dealing with this dynamic IPs will be difficult. So that's why we have a new component here, which is service now. Service are basically that will have your IPs and all that configured already. So meaning your pod fails and new pod comes, and you still have your original IP address. So that way, you don't have to deal with dynamic IPs. Make sense so far, everybody? Great. So let's go to the next one. Yep, that's good. And also, the service acts like a load balancer, meaning when you replace a new pod, it also acts like a load balancer, so it's smooth. All right, some of the benefits of Kubernetes, like I said earlier, so what does it really solve, right? It helps in our scalability, and if I want to create like multiple containers, creating the same containers multiple times by ourselves is going to take time. So Kubernetes is going to take care for us. It's going to create replicas easily for us, and all these things are automated within Kubernetes. And auto scaling per the load that our application needs. Say for example, we have an e-commerce website or something, and every Saturday, Sunday, we have like a lot of traffic, and during weekdays, not much of a traffic. So every Saturday, Sunday, if you want to add more, servers to your infrastructure to support the load, so that should make sense, right? So Kubernetes will take care of all those things for us. Like auto scaling as the load increases. It would auto scale and scale down as the load decreases, and also portability. Putting your workloads from one environment to another. Those things happens more smooth and faster. Using Kubernetes, you can basically have the same configuration run across multiple environments, so you don't have to deal with configuring it on multiple environments, and Kubernetes will take care for all those for you. So those are some of the benefits of Kubernetes. I think this is a good segue for us to get on some get our hands dirty now. As the next step, we can get on to Kubernetes EKS Anywhere. Again, there are several flavors of Kubernetes that are available in the market. Today we're going to see about EKS Anywhere because this is the latest offering in the market. So I just want to bring this to everybody so people have some hands-on of this. The good thing is we don't need a cloud environment to run Kubernetes. You can run on-prem, on your local computer. Currently, it is supported only with vSphere for production workloads. But again, today, our goal is to just try this out on your local computer. If you don't have enough space on a local computer or something, you can still create an AWS EC2 instance or something. Again, we don't need an AWS account, but if you do not have a computer, so that's the beauty of cloud infrastructure. You can spin up your computer like in a couple of minutes, right? So wherever you want to run it, we can run it today. And probably it might take like 30 to 40 minutes or so to create your clusters and all that. Palash can share a screen and walk us through, how we want, how to create a cluster step by step. I believe Palash might also post in a link here, which you can follow through. Yeah, Palash, over to you.
Also, let's open for questions before we do the hands-on exercise, if you don't mind. Sundaresh. So
Yeah.
the people that joined, anyone that is new to Kubernetes, does anyone have any questions for Sundaresh before we begin more of the hands-on exercise part of the night? And if you are uncomfortable asking out loud, feel free to chat.
Yeah, and also once we're done with the exercise, we can also deep dive into what Kubernetes is best for you, or how to choose the right Kubernetes for you. We can brainstorm on those things.
Yeah, we'll come back together as a group, right?
Yeah. Yep.
No questions? No one's brave? Cool. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. Palash, if you want to take over.
Yeah.
Hey, Kate, I was wondering quickly just curious, but maybe Sundaresh can help me understand. And in terms of a question there, Sundaresh, thank you, man, that was great. Wondering in terms when you mentioned this, in terms of a DevOps sort of situation, does the containerization and the Kubernetes, hand over certain sort of responsibility over to ops to application teams? They can do it's self-serve versus depending on the ops. Is that the kind of underlying principle here? I was just trying to understand, because you mentioned previously it was a very cumbersome process, right? But with the containers, the application deployment process becomes easier. Did I get that right?
So previously, let's talk about a scenario where I had to create a web application or something, right? I will reach out to several folks. To get the binaries and then download it down on my computer. And if it doesn't work, I'll reach out to people again to get that working on my computer, right? Now you can containerize those things, meaning the containers is going to take care of the dependencies that are required for you to install them on your computer, right? So which meaning, look at a normal shipping container too, right? Like a shipping container, it's of the same size. And it can, you can put it on A ship or B ship or C ship. It's the same size. It's more predictable. And so, you don't care about what is inside the container, but you're from a container perspective, right? It's more predictable that can be ported from one ship to another, or like whatever, right? So likewise, using the same analogy here, right? Your container is going to have your dependencies that are required for your application to run or your service to run, or say, for example, message broker like a Redis or something, right? I can containerize a message broker application. So whatever dependencies that are required for it, you have it as one package. And so you download the container, run on any OS, any operating system. It is not like a operating system specific. It's very agnostic. It can run on anywhere. The same way it will run on one computer. So meaning I can run this on a test environment, sandbox environment, QA environment, production environment. The same container can run the same way across multiple environments, right? So meaning you're not configuring your environments for your application to run in a different way. Your container basically packages all those dependencies into a single package already to provide you the environment. Does it make sense?
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you.
I think we're ready for you, Palash.
Yeah. Just give me one sec. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So today we are trying to set up a local instance of Kubernetes on our systems to play around with. So typically when you have a Kubernetes cluster, Kubernetes is a distributed clustering tool that helps in container orchestration, as Sundaresh said. And typically it requires multiple nodes where you have one master node which is responsible for scheduling and making all the decisions that go into automating your containers. So, but when we have just one node or a local setup, running applications inside similar environments become tricky. So there are a lot of Kubernetes flavors that help you run Kubernetes locally. We are just gonna use EKS Anywhere today, but regardless of the tool that you use, it is supposed to provide you the same experience as Kubernetes does. With EKS Anywhere, it allows you to mimic in some capacity what you experience in like production EKS setups. What that means is in my setup, I have just one system, but if I query Kubernetes for how many nodes are there in the system, it says 2. And it has basically mocked the control plane node inside the same system. This is this is not what is typically expected. When you have just one system, it is supposed to be one node, but this helps you replicate production grade setups in your local environment. Now, what we are ultimately going to end up doing today is we are going to deploy a pod, which is basically just a container, which means a isolated file system with your application that runs. And this will be running on the same cluster, and we will try to port forward it and try to access it. So this is the goal today. You want to access what is happening inside your container using a local Kubernetes setup. So I have provided a set of scripts that I used, and this is going to work for Ubuntu systems. So you would want to go to this link in the I'll paste it again. Go to this link and look at starting with installation of dependencies. With EKS Anywhere, the only dependency that you need is to have kubectl available on your system, which is not a part. Oh wait, this is a part of the script. Okay, so this script will install kubectl and eksctl. These two binaries are going to allow you to create this environment on your system. Once you have once you have run the install dependency script, you will have these binaries, and these are the only two binaries that you'll need to create a Kubernetes setup on your system. Part of this exercise requires you to have Docker installed on your system. It is a requirement, but in case you are not on Ubuntu, you can just go to EKS Anywhere local dev documentation, and it will give you the right commands for Mac on how to install the binaries. So in case you're not on Ubuntu, you will have to run a few extra commands which you can get from this page. But once you have all your dependencies and set up, you want to run the script called create cluster.sh. This script is going to create a cluster which has all the control plane nodes as we all the control plane pods pre-created for you. So if I do Kubernetes get pods -a, let me zoom out a little so that it's easier for you guys to see. Okay, so all the cubes, Kubernetes applications run in different namespaces. They should run in different namespaces. The idea of a namespace in Kubernetes is to isolate resources, and it creates like a separate environment for you to allocate your system resources to. So by default, all the Kubernetes system resources run in kube system namespace. It is a highly privileged namespace, so you should not run your own pods or own application or anything that you want to deploy. You typically don't want it to be in this namespace, but by default, EKS Anywhere gives you like a whole package of things. As Sundaresh pointed out previously, there is a networking component to Kubernetes which allocates IPs. So if I click, okay, so the pod that I deployed, if I want to see its IP, it will get a unique IP every deployment, and this is automated. So if I want to query like port forward to my pod, what happens in the background is there would be more firewall redirection routes created so that your request ultimately ends up to this pod. Kubernetes has a good sense of object-driven development. So within Kubernetes is everything you want to access from outside, you want to define them as services. So services get you can create an exposed port or an IP that each services use, or a load balancer bound to them, and each of these services can then be accessed externally. Otherwise, everything inside Kubernetes is isolated from outside. And all of these run in a private networking names IP space. Okay, so I would give you guys time to install all the dependencies, and like this particular EKS Anywhere setup requires a bit of free memory and disk space. So if you guys don't have that already, you might face some issues, but make sure to run the script at least to make sure you have Kubernetes set up correctly. Yeah, we can do it together. I'll just delete the cluster that I have.
Yeah, though the point of using EKS Anywhere to use Kubernetes locally on your local infrastructure, if you don't have the right setup on your computer or something, feel free to use your AWS account or something, which would mark your EC2 instance as your local environment to create this.
Yeah. So in the system that I have, I already have the dependencies installed. So once this old cluster gets deleted, I'll create a new one, but you guys can start creating your clusters. It would probably take you guys more time because I have the images cached. I guess we can take messages in chat if anyone has questions.
Everyone's good so far? You're able to get onto the link and start using those commands there? Everyone's good so far? Feel free to ask questions, guys.
Yeah, for anyone who's new to Kubernetes, This is the specification of the application we are deploying inside Kubernetes. It is basically a Docker container which is hosted in this registry, public.ecr AWS. It is just a hello EKS application. It is supposed to be running on port 80 within the container. And we are allocating these many resources to that particular namespace. Let's see what namespace it is going to end up in. Okay, so since no namespace is defined, it is going to end up in default namespace, and it will have 64 megs of memory and 1/4 of a CPU core. We also define some limits as to how many resources it can use in maximum. So if the application that is running in this in this container, if it requires more resources, it can use up to these much resources. This does not have to be necessarily larger than this, but it is good to create a slightly higher value. And anything in Kubernetes that needs to be exposed will be exposed using a service definition. Here, the service type is a node port. We don't really need to get down into what are different type of services, but each of them have a different way of working. So just make sure you have the port numbers correctly. So the container port number that is written over here should match the port number here, and this should match the port which was defined while creating the container. So consistency matters, but once you have the manifest ready, it takes like you just need this manifest to replicate your application in any environment, basically. By any environment, I mean in the same architecture. Okay, so my old cluster is deleted. I should be able to create cluster. This takes a bit of time depending on how much resources you have available on your system, but I'm just using the same scripts I posted on Git. So if there is something which does not work for your system, let me know and I can tweak it. You will need free resources on your system because this requires about 15-ish pods. Just because EKS is a production grade Kubernetes distribution, and to bring consistency of a production grade system to your local environment, you need some more resources. There are some Kubernetes flavors like K3s, which are basically very, very lightweight, and they try to mimic all API objects that core Kubernetes uses in the lightweight environment.
Yeah, I'm assuming everybody are able to make progress here. If not, I mean, this is getting recorded. Yeah, I believe, I mean, you can have access to the recorded version of it anytime.
Yes, it's being recorded and we'll share that recording. And I don't see any questions in the chat from anyone yet.
Hi, this is Guru. A question to Palash. So, what is the minimum free space that or free memory that is required? Because I'm running a Ubuntu on a VirtualBox, and yeah, because my host is Windows. Not sure if I have that much resource available as of now.
Okay, yeah, good question. So the EKS documentation states that you should have at least 16 gigs of free memory. I
Okay.
have personally used it on a system with 8 and it worked. So, I mean, it might or may not work depending on the system, but at least 16 is recommended by them.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I think I might have to, revisit this recording and then start because the system I'm currently on, it doesn't have that much free space. So
Yeah, this is like a fairly fast process to create a cluster, uh, despite having so many components. This is like, it has a really good CNI. I think it installs Cilium, uh, and it gives you all the storage classes which are persistent. And you can basically install everything you can install on your actual Kubernetes setup with this EKS Anywhere fun. There are like rare scenarios where local setups can meet like the uh, criteria for production, but yeah, resource requirement is high in this one, which is like fair. While this creates, we can just see what are the containers it is using. These are not the only containers that it runs. These are just the Docker containers. There are a lot of containerd processes that will also be spinning up that will not be able to see from a Docker standpoint. But yeah, our cluster is almost ready. Cool. So the cluster that I was creating is ready, but it was slightly faster to create for me because I had all these images cached. So I think I'll give everyone some more time to make sure this works for them.
Yeah, one thing I just want to double check. I mean, if people are making progress or they want to refer to the recording later, if you want to refer to the recording later, probably, I mean, we can move on to the next topic here.
Yeah. So the next part that I wanted to do was to deploy an application to this cluster. Currently, there is nothing running, no deployments, there should be just a Kubernetes service, which is by default Kubernetes service, dashboard service. So this script called seed application.sh, this will basically download the manifest that we saw previously, this one, and it will start running this container on your cluster. So seed app, deployment created, service created. Whenever a resource is created, you will see what type of resource it is and what's the name of the resource. So kubectl get deployments, and our application has one node. Kubectl get pods. wait, we can do something fun. So we want to see how Kubernetes or any container orchestration platform will automate fault tolerance for your application. So what it means is basically my application is running, but somehow say it died. So I have this let's see. But wait, let me cat seed app. I see. Okay. Never mind. Let's not touch the spot. But if say your application is deployed and you wanted to see its logs, you could just query Kubernetes control plane to identify what are the container logs on this particular application. In Kubernetes, you don't really have to worry about on which particular node where my container might be running, because the API server can talk internally to different namespaces and query for logs in every namespace. So this is just Nginx logs from that particular pod. Okay, we looked at logs and now we want to port forward this application. We remember that it was port number 80, which was being exposed through the service. So when you want to expose a port, you want to do it in the way you are using it, which is slightly complicated. But in this scenario, we are using a node port or a cluster IP based container, and we are directly forwarding the 8000 port on the local system with port 80 on the container. So every request that goes to localhost 8000 is directed towards container port 80 and curl, and it will basically create a new connection every time we do a local it. And yeah, this is like pretty much it. You guys can play around with this, create containers of your own, try creating new custom resources. So Kubernetes allows you to create your own API resources, which are a very fun concept. So pods, as Sundaresh said earlier, are just a collection of containers that run on the system. But you could create a custom resource, which is basically anything that you want it to be. So if you have a very cool deployment strategy, so by default, Kubernetes does rolling deployments. But if you have like a canary deployment strategy, you can implement that. If you want to implement your own scheduler, which will deploy pods in different nodes, you can do that also. So Kubernetes is extremely customizable, and EKS is basically just a flavor on top of Kubernetes. The good thing about this is you don't really need any AWS resources, or it will not cost you anything to run this locally. You don't really need a AWS account either. This is all free. It is going to mimic a production grade EKS setup, which is fairly robust. So yeah, this is all in the demo, but yeah, feel free to reach out to us in case you have any questions about this. I'll leave this just up in case you guys need access to it.
Yeah. Feel free to reach out to us anytime. We'll be very happy to help you out here. All right, looks like, I mean, that's all we have for the demo today. And it's past 5. Do people still have time to talk about the, I mean, what Kubernetes is best for you?
Yeah, are you hoping for it to be more interactive Q&A at this point?
Yeah,
Have people bring any questions or any real life, real world challenges in their current environments? No?
yeah, that's fine. I mean, I understand. I mean, it might be new to some people or some companies, but
Mhm.
but the goal here is really, I mean, how do we automate our infrastructure, or how do we provide an infrastructure that will be scalable? I mean, help your application scale and be performant and be available. So that's why we're looking at tools that enables those things. I mean, in this case, when we're talking about EKS Anywhere, but there are many flavors of Kubernetes available in the market. I think this is what, I mean, I want to say as we conclude here. Look at what is the infrastructure or the use case that, I mean, your team has, or what is the culture your company has, or your architecture. Look into, I mean, take everything into consideration. I mean, you can go to the last slide. I'll use that as my summary, actually. Kate. Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, I mean, there are many flavors of Kubernetes available in the market. So when I choose a Kubernetes platform, or like a container orchestration platform for myself or for my I mean, clients or somebody. So these are something that, I mean, I would always recommend to look into. I mean, as, I mean, you're evaluating a platform, the first thing is, I mean, production readiness, right? I mean, Kubernetes by itself has a lot of configuration that are so complex and complicated. So this could take a lot of resource, I mean, your team to configure these things. So having a production ready platform could possibly give you an instant access to, I mean, all the automated features without any hassles at all. And also, what I mean by production readiness is security. From a security standpoint, Kubernetes does come with like a very strong security feature. So you should look at them in providers that connects these features to your own backend systems, your IT systems, and also look into a product that can handle or manage all the tasks that your cluster warrants in terms of backing up or restoring. And so you can avoid putting resource on those things, right? When just in a conclusion, I mean, choose a platform that provides scalability, high performance, high availability. And if something, I mean, your container dies or your cluster dies, like a self-healing, one of your node dies, right? And a self-healing capability, I mean, for your applications. So that's what I mean, in a nutshell, I call it as production readiness or something like that. In a 2.0 of your company, as in like your future roadmap or your future, I mean, how you want your company to perform, your infrastructure to perform, your in order to meet your business goals in down the line, right? And maybe, I mean, you're looking at like a multi-cloud approach or something like that. So look at something that would accommodate those things, like and handle those kind of capabilities to accommodate your 2.0 company needs, right? Yeah, again, like something that is easily adaptable and can fit into your infrastructure and easily manageable. Those are always would be my considerations as I look into a new platform or tool into my mix. Any questions, guys? All right, sounds good. Yeah, feel free to reach out to us anytime. Yeah, I mean, I believe, I mean, you should have our email or something. Yeah, we'll be very, very happy to help you out in your Kubernetes journey, be it EKS or EKS Anywhere or any other Kubernetes that, I mean, you come up with. We'd be very happy to help you with them.
Thank you, Sundaresh and Palash. I think it was great. There was a lot of information there. I know I learned something. I did not build my own Kubernetes on my machine sitting here tonight, but it will be great to play back and have people do the demos and follow up. I think everyone has each other's email address from the calendar invite I had sent out, but if you wanted to share your contact info in the chat, feel free to, Sundaresh or Palash, if you want to give someone your email address to reach out for questions if they plan to do this demo on their own time a little later.
Yeah, and also feel free to add me on LinkedIn or something like that.
Follow on Twitter. Palash just dropped his contact info in there as well. I think this was great. I don't know if Irfan has anything in closing. Feedback is always appreciated. Feel free to reach out to anyone that you know from DASA, myself included, with any feedback. We're hoping to do these events once a month, free webinars, different topics. The next one will be January 12th, second Wednesday of the year. Jorge and Christine are going to speak to us at that point. And so look forward to those announcements and information.
Hi, Kate.
Hi, Jorge. Did
Yeah,
you want to say about
maybe,
your January
yeah.
12th?
No, yeah, maybe we would like to have it moved to the end of the month, because as we will have the holidays, maybe it will be very, very difficult for the people to remember the event and also to promote it, because a lot of people take two weeks off during this season.
Right. Yeah, I think we're meeting on Friday, right, to discuss, and so we potentially will move it from the 12th to maybe the 19th. But the goal is to have it on a Wednesday evening so that people can kind of get in the habit of coming. And I think that there will be the recording emailed out for those of you that registered, through DASA. They should be able to send you the recording. I see some comments from Sergio and Gonzalo now, but thank you all. I think it was a great presentation for sure.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for dropping in today. Thank you. Thanks, Palash.
Thank you, Sundaresh. Thank you, Palash.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Phil. Bye.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, right?
Happy holidays. Take care, everyone.